For those that you are interested in this idea of a question bank, or you also know that you have the resources available from the text that you use that provides test bank, I wanted to demonstrate to you the workflow that I use to make question banks, upload them to Schoology, and then implement them in a test or a quiz. So the software that I use is from the book publishing company called Pearson. I've linked below if you would like to install the software on either a Windows machine or a Mac. And then once you have this loaded, we're going to open up the software. So here's what the test generation software looks like. On the left-hand side, you have your question banks. These are the actual textbook questions that you can get from the Pearson website. Hopefully, others come with install CDs that provide these .bok files that allows you to implement your book's question bank. Additionally, you can create your own question bank. So if you wanted to add a new test bank, you could create your own as long as you create it. How many levels of organization? Say 3. You can create your own question bank with question types and everything if you so desire. You don't have to rely on just having pre-made questions. You can create your own if you would like to. Let's focus on making a test from one of my books that I have. So what I'm going to do is first click on a web test as opposed to a paper test. There's a web test. I'm going to, for our purposes, just grab the first section of my textbook, can drag them in, and now it creates 52 questions. I can see each one of the question types, and then I also have this ability by BI, which means bimodal. I can change any of the question types to short response instead of, so I just right click on that and it says, what type of question would you like? Bimodal, which is multiple choice, or I can say specifically, I want this to be a short answer question. I hit OK. Now that it's going to readjust, but now it says short answer. So what I like to do is I will scan through all of these problems and I will tailor the questions that I think are appropriate for my classes or not. But if you already have gone through all of these questions and you think that they are all appropriate, then we simply want to export this question bank. What we do is we go up to File, and we are going to choose the Export. This is the important thing that allows you to import it into Schoology. We want to select Blackboard. This is the file type that Schoology understands. So sample bank, that's what I'm going to call it. Save it to my documents. So now in my documents, I have this zip file that's called sample question bank that has 52 questions, 51 multiple choice, and 1 short response. Switching over to Schoology. In order to import that question bank, I go to Resources, and now under My Resources, this tab that has a drop-down arrow, I'm going to select Import. I am going to choose Blackboard because that's the file type that we had, and I'm going to say Sample Collection. You can give it whatever name you want. Now we hit Next, and this is where we need to attach our file. I'm going to go to my documents and grab the sample bank that I created. I'm going to hit Choose. It's going to import. I'm going to hit Import, and now I'm going to wait. It's going to give me this little information. So if I hit Transfer History, I can see that it does take a little time for Schoology to import. It's going to say pending, and then when it's completed, you'll get an email to your Schoology account that says transfer complete. So as we wait for this, we're going to switch over to our sample course. We are going to go into our sample assessment that we built previously. Now, since we've added our question bank, let's add a question from there. So what we want to do is add questions. We're going to go from question banks. This time we'll say random questions. And we're going to go all the way down. We're going to take our sample collection. We're going to select that and select question banks. Again, here's our 52 questions. I'm going to say 12, and I'm going to say 1 point per question. And now I have added a new question bank from My Resources to Schoology, and I've implemented it in its own test. The last thing that I wanted to showcase to you guys is if you have a shared resource group, you can add a question bank to a given folder. So let's say I go to my calculus shared course in my math department DCHS group. If I go to add resources, I can now add a question bank, or I can add copy from resources, one of these question banks that I've already loaded. So once I hit copy there, now this file will transfer over to my question banks inside this shared resource that all of my teachers have access to. So this is a little more advanced for many of you. Many of you won't use this feature at all, but it's something worth showcasing to make your guys' lives easier. Again, if you want any additional hands-on support with this, feel free to email me and I will gladly walk you through how to create your own question banks and where you can find other resources.